welcome y'all to Backwoods Obscura, a podcast dedicated to the lore, legends, and myths surrounding the creatures that may lurk in your backyard. My name's Hewitt.
I'm Chris.
Hey buddy, how you doing tonight?
I need to go camping.
Yeah, well, I think at least I might. I'm not sure yet. My wife has some predispositions, but maybe sometime in May you'll get to go camping on the Homachita.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I hope nothing pops up, the economy crashing or anything.
Well, then that means you go to the Homachita and just stay there. That's where you live now.
Yeah, this is just. I quit my job.
You forage.
I only bring what I need into Homachita.
Ruby
and my guitar and my dog.
Box of Pop-Tarts. Your dog, not both dogs, just...
I said my dogs.
I heard one. I didn't hear it plural. So it's like, Artax is in like, Papa, why?
Why, Dad? Why?
Because you can survive in the wild. Run with the deer, Artax. Artax, I am a deer!
I am a deer. Let me drink from the water. Oh no, I have giardia. Oh, I'm going to die from dehydration from the diarrhea.
You're like, I was gonna make it. He just runs free in the woods, and you made it. Fucking your dog dies. Like, why'd you homeward bound us?
It's because I don't know.
I mean, I could have made a joke like he's just gonna be like, I'm gonna wander. Oh no, I'm in a bunch of mud.
Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did. It's a fucking never-ending story joke. Right.
By the way, can we both admit with the never-ending story? A creepy scene that is 100% unnecessary is the wolf.
Well, the wolf was like the embodiment of the nothing, right?
No, it's the servant of the nothing. And
yeah, but he was like the physical manifestation.
And then he gets smushed, and you're like,
okay.
I'm over here going, I could have just skipped this whole bit.
I mean, I feel like by the end of the movie, they didn't really know what to do, so they just kind of
I could have hit X and skipped this cutscene, but yet I didn't. It's.
I mean, it's based on a book, so what I think they did was just had a lot of the scenes from the book filmed, and then they were
that's true. But I mean, it's like when you play the first Lords of Shadows from Castlevania, which low key unpopular opinion, I do love the original Lords of Shadows. Lord of Shadow 2 kind of sucks, but when you watch Captain Picard soliloquy for a whole fucking hour before you fight the devil in that game, and it's an unskippable cutscene. They really should be like, click X, get past this. Especially when you die the first time fighting the boss, and then you got to do it again. It's like, I already did it. You should register in my save file that I already did this. You can skip.
Why don't you have autosave? Why don't you have autosave? God damn it! Why don't you have autosave?
Well, no, it's you autosave first. Patrick Stewart soliloquies. He dies, sort of, maybe, and then you fight Satan. And
cool.
It's literally like, there is no gap in between.
But yeah, so speaking of camping, which is why I brought it up, how do you feel about the Ozarks?
Depends on the part.
Well, we're not going to the Ozarks. I'm talking about the Ozark Howler.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this. Be honest. Did you actually look at the Google Drive document?
I actually did, and I marked me.
Oh my God, everybody. We have, after a whole year and some change, he has decided to check the document he insisted I make.
You know what? You live, you laugh, you learn, you love.
You live, you laugh, you love, you howl.
You howl, you do a whole.
Oh, I'm really glad you did this one because it was on my list.
Well,
one to snatch up, but that's also because at this point I thought the whole list was mine because you don't go and look at it.
I don't know. It's like the thing is, it's like when I was looking at the list, I was like, oh, half of the things I see on here are things I kind of wanted to do anyway. So
because you made part of the list.
Yeah, it's true. I did make part of the list.
I mean, I really was like the first 10, 12 lines are yours, and then it's speckled throughout the rest. I'm so glad you actually look at it now.
Look, just look on the bright side. We're being a professional podcast.
Are we professional?
No.
No. I mean,
No.
we're professional when all of a sudden I have to go, this episode is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
We don't sponsor them.
No, we don't, because I know
And
several...
I don't think we would sponsor them.
No, but I also know several voice actors that have recorded lines and then found out they were in that game and then actually sent the paycheck back.
Really? It's like, it has that bad of a reputation?
There is one dude who recorded like 5 characters and he thought he was recording them for some fantasy game. Like, he wasn't told what it was for, and they handed him... Okay, when you get handed $9,000 to $10,000 for one afternoon's work, you don't ask in LA. And then when all of a sudden he heard himself on a Raid Shadow Legends advertisement, he sent the entire check back and said, remove me from the game or litigation.
Wow.
However, Hims, Fuse,
MeUndies. Hello Tushy.
What's the sock ones? Bombas.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We're
desperate here. The economy is crashing. Please help us.
Hey, Jimmy Dean's, Wright's Bacon, any of y'all? Oh shit, I literally will do this podcast for free bacon.
It's like Waffle House. We always say Waffle House.
Hashtag sponsors Waffle House.
Please.
I mean, we could reach out. We've been doing this for a year and we got 20 followers.
We got 20 whole followers. We get
Is that actually
8 concurrent.
Is that actually where we're at right now?
I'm about right there.
Okay, that's actually, you know what? I'm happy for that because we do this as a hobby. Like, you and I both have full-time jobs.
And we could probably do more to send it out, but anyway, we are talking about the Ozark Howler.
One last thing before we fully move into the Ozark Howler. We're like the dirty version of 90% of Cryptid podcasts. Like, we're the ones that have to appear on like Sirius Radio because there's no editing on that. Like, if we were put out anywhere else, I am responsible for so many bleeps.
We're both responsible. Like, fuck, shit, fuck.
Pussy.
Yeah, you know it is.
Chris isn't going to bleep any of those out, so I'm going to be listening to this in 3 weeks.
Okay, so one is going to be bleeped out, but you don't know which one.
In 3 weeks, I'm just going to hear myself say
So the Ozark Howler.
Pussy.
God damn it.
It's
We're talking about the Ozark Howler.
Ozuki?
The Ozuki.
Let's
talk about
the Ozuki.
Is it matted down? We are stopping. We are moving on. So the Ozark Howler, also called the Black Howler, the Devil Cat, the Ho-Ho, or Hoo-Hoo. H-O-O.
Hold on. There is a howler because of the hoo-hoo.
That's hoo-ha, motherfucker.
I don't know. I've heard certain pieces of anatomy referred to as the hoo-hoo.
That feels so condescending, doesn't it?
What? I'm trying to think. Was that the 40-year-old virgin?
No, I mean, that's like just an old-timey term for vagina.
I know, but however, you're calling the hoo-hoo and then the Ozark Howler. I mean, if you get to the hoo-hoo right, you might have an Ozark Howler.
It's also known as the Nightshade Bear, which is a cool name.
That's a D&D character name. That's like, I
am the Nightshade Bear.
A Furball Granger.
Or, you know what? Just a burly big man. I'm the Nightshade Bear.
You know what? Copy Talus and Jaffe, have a rogue barbarian and just basically be Batman.
So it is a legendary creature that's set to live in the Ozark mountain range in Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas.
Yeah, the all 8 feet that the Ozarks go into Oklahoma.
I mean,
the
Ozarks... thing is, it's like my sources mostly mention Missouri and Arkansas is the big one, but they mention Missouri and Arkansas.
Well, I mean, Oklahoma has some of them. Like, if you remember the movie, True Grit?
I thought you were talking about Homeward Bound.
No. If you're talking about True Grit,
why did I think of Homeward Bound?
The Ozarks do extend into part of Oklahoma, part of Nebraska, but mostly Arkansas and Missouri. Which I do love that movie because all of a sudden he killed a man down in Monroe, Louisiana. I don't care what he did in Monroe. I care what he did in Fort Smith. And I'm over here going,
That's fair.
that's fair.
Fair.
The big
No
thing
one
about,
cares about Monroe.
well, the thing is that you got to remember for, like, most of the time when you say the Wild West, people think Arizona, California, Utah,
Yeah.
New Mexico, parts of Texas. There is a very long part of our country's history where we were the Wild West because...
Well, the Wild West, like, the thing is, I'm convinced people, like, see the Wild West as, like, mostly, like, the Southwest, or...
Yeah, but, I mean,
because of, like, one, because of movies, and two, just... Well, yeah, just movies, really.
Yeah,
because,
I mean, it's... Yeah, but, I mean, think about it as the swath between Texas and Louisiana, known as No Man's Land, that eventually we need to go to DeRidder because they have an exhibit about it, and the hanging jail. But... just like that entire, like, there's 100 miles of West Louisiana along the Sabine River that we're like, we don't know if it belongs to Mexico or the United States. And it's like, what happened? Well, since no one claimed it, I murdered a man and then I went and lived there. And I'm saying, what you gonna do? There ain't no law here. I am outside jurisdiction.
But yeah, so... getting back into what we were talking about, the creature is supposedly a large bear, cat-like, or dog-like creature with a large shaggy coat and ram-like horns, red eyes, obviously.
Well, I mean, I shine at night for certain... Well, okay, I think alligators, most creatures when their eye shine, it comes back white or yellow. It's like alligators are one of the only ones that have an orange-red eye shine, aren't they?
Reptiles, generally.
Yeah, I'm just saying is like they're the ones that usually have that color, but I like it shine back green at me. Nobody's gonna be scared of that. But if you say it shined red in the night, you're gonna go, fuck.
It's like, yeah, that's pretty weird.
I'm sorry. My mother decided to text me because I told her that the baby ate so many pickles and tomatoes, and she and Vincent are fighting over them. And she's like, "You gotta buy more tomatoes." I'm like, "Or I could grow them."
The sightings of the creature are obviously rare. The more common encounters, according to folklore, would be people hearing this distinctive howl of the creature, which is said to be a mixture of a wolf howl, though resembling also a human scream or yell.
Oh, so mountain lion.
I mean, that's the first thing I thought of, too.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Ozark, Howler.
I will tell you right now, you're going to hear, like, some wildly different shit, because I looked it up.
Let's see.
And also don't spoil yourself, because...
What, do you have a recording?
I don't have a recording, no. It's not that. I know which one.
That's a coyote. That's a muffler.
Yeah, that... You see, I listened to that video. It was nothing like a lot of the accounts. So...
Okay. That's a 17-minute video. Fuck that. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I was trying to
put up your phone.
I'm putting it up. I was trying to be helpful because I was also going to look up the population density of Arkansas, which I'm going to go back to doing that.
Yeah, do that. So while you do that, I'm going to read this. The howl is similar to a human scream or a wolf yell, but it can also be either high pitch or guttural. There's kind of an inconsistency when it comes to the howl. Mm-hmm. Like many American cryptids and folklore, the howler's origins trace back to Europe.
Okay. Which, by the way, to back up your fact of why a lot of encounters with this would be rare, the western half of the state of Arkansas is the Ozarks. And looking at the map, I will also show it to you. Most of them are right around Little Rock in the central section of the state, or around Fort Smith, Bentonville, which is where Walmart started, and Arkadelphia, which means a large section of the western portion of the state is very sparsely populated because it's the Ozark freaking mountains. It's like you go from the Delta, which is as flat can be, bounce a quarter off of it, it's flat. And then all of a sudden the Ozarks like, I'm going to jump up like, I don't know, 500, 600 feet. So the population of that section of the state is very, like to back that up. Also, driving from Fort Smith to Bentonville is one of the scariest things I've ever done at night because one, the interstates do not have lights on them,
That's always fun.
And you're going through the mountains. So all of a sudden you get to the top of a mountain. And then the next thing you know is you see tail lights like 200 feet below you on this road. And you see house lights 100 feet below them. So all of a sudden it's like, I don't know what's happening. Like I might be going over a cliff. But it's one of those of when I've driven there at night up to Bentonville or driven up to western Missouri, hitting that area, you realize how few people are there because it is pitch fucking black.
Have you ever had an experience on the road where like your tunnel vision tricks your body into thinking like you're falling?
I've never had that I'm falling other than coming back from Gettysburg's 150th. Because I got my shift driving, both up and down I got the 1 a.m. till 5 a.m. shift driving. Like I pulled that 4 hours, which means I'm driving on the interstate in pitch black. And both times, because we left late, coming home, I was driving through the Appalachians at dark 30. And I'm just following the road, looking ahead of me. And it's one of those of like, my entire vision exists of headlights, taillights, and the void. So I didn't feel like I was falling. I felt like I was literally going through nothing. And at
like negative space.
But at the tail end of both of my driving shifts, the sun is starting to come up and I'm in. Like I live in Louisiana. I live just on the western edge of Delta. I live where it is flat and where 38 feet is high above sea level. And the sun coming up while you're driving through mountains is weird and rough, especially when your co-pilot on both up and down decides to fall asleep, which is not cool.
That's not fun.
No, but our buddy Cannon drove straight in his vehicle. Like no one else drove Cannon's truck because it's
his truck.
It's his truck. So everybody else, like our buddy Cedric, who's up in Gettysburg now, he was the co-pilot the entire trip, and he fell asleep a couple times, but mostly it was him and Cannon keeping each other awake. The rest of us rotated out when I was in the Travel Princess, the Truck Princess, whatever the term is for the person who sits up front, the co-pilot. Other than that, I kept the other person awake and we talked the whole time, but every time I got in, do you remember Rook?
Yeah.
Yeah, Wheeler's son was my co-pilot. He's like, I'm going to sleep now. Bitch.
You're not supposed to do that.
He goes, oh no, I'm falling asleep. I ate a whole Chipotle burrito. Then you should be awake.
You have energy. I will punch.
No, I just shit myself as asleep. And then just passed out. I'm over here doing this.
Damn it.
God damn it, Songbird.
Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about. Many American cryptids and folklore, its origins trace back to Europe, specifically in the British Isles.
Ooh, are we talking like shucks and black dogs?
Yeah, black shuck, Kushi, Quinyan, I think.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, the fey hounds that lead the wild hunt.
Yes, sir.
Things like that. The difference here is like all of these creatures are like you can find like the black hounds, the hellhounds, Kushi, things like that.
Grims and all the such, which we've done an episode on them, right?
We've alluded to them at least. These are all like supernatural creatures, like the Quinyan. I don't think I'm pronouncing it right.
Let me see the spelling of it. You know what? Your pronunciation is best as mine, unless you keep going on.
It's like, the fey hounds that lead that wild hunt. You had the Kushi, which it was like Kunshi or something like that.
Kushi.
Yeah. Which is a hound that like howls 3 times, and you have to get in you got to get to safety before the third howl, or else you die of fright. Or you die of
just
terror.
like a Bagest or Old Shuck.
Yeah.
And you know what? Any of the that doesn't help, Google. I don't know what those symbols mean.
I mean, I believe it's a Welsh or Scottish Gaelic term.
Okay. What we would pronounce as Cwn Anen, or Awen, is Cwn Al Noon.
Cwn Al Noon?
Cwn Al Noon. KW with the arrow above it, N, is pronounced Koon, Kun, and ANNW, N, is pronounced Anun.
So Cwn Anun.
Thank you, Welsh.
Yeah, I think that's like because Gaelic is technically
Welsh, Gaelic, and Pike or Pick. Are that?
Well, Gaelic is like it's not technically one language. It's like
it's a language
term for like 3 or 4 different.
It's languages. A language group like Native Irish, Cornish, Welsh, and Pike. Not just necessarily just Scottish, but Pike, like the Pikeys. They all fall underneath that, and it's a completely different language group than what we have. Which, by the way, when we get done, I need to show you a TikTok video of how far back into English can you understand what they're saying. I made it to 2 steps away from original Old English. Okay,
so, but unlike them, there isn't really anything supernatural about the Ozark Howler. There's one... I saw one thing about the Ozark Howler being kind of like the howl being a bad omen, but we put that to like mundane animals. Like a black cat can be a bad omen if
let's be honest. Like, let's even talk about the Appalachians, which I think, as much as we've talked about our era, we're both about to end up delving deep into Appalachia. You hear anything at night that's not normal? Fuck that. No, go inside.
Yeah, go inside. Go. I mean, the story about the Cushy originated in Scotland, and even then, it's like you hear one howl. Go inside.
You hear a noise. You hear a noise at night that is not normal.
Go inside.
Fuck that. What happened to you taking the trash out? No. Just no.
And the thing is, it's like it is like when it reminds me of like the Rougarou or all the others, which the Rougarou originated in Europe as well. But it's also like stories that have like elements to them that are like specifically telling younger people, like kids, a very specific story.
Don't wander your ass around it.
Yeah. It's just a workaround to get kids like, okay, if you hear 3, you do not want to hear 3 howls because you will die instantly.
Yeah, but also at the same time, think about the number of creatures that 3 is the magic number.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's just, I guess it's like human brains. It's like, 1, I warned you once. Okay, I warned you again. I'm getting mad. If I have to do it again, it's going to be bad. And then the 3rd time, it's like...
Well, it's not just that, like, if you call on a creature 3 times, the number of creatures, if you call on them 3 times, they show up.
Or like Bloody Mary.
Well, it's not just Bloody Mary. Like, Bloody Mary is a good example, but, like, the reason I don't say a Wendy's name out loud, or, like, if you went Mab, and then said it a 3rd time, you might summon the Queen of Air and Darkness. Like, there's a whole thing about the number 3. Why is the Trinity important to Christianity? Why is 3 important in other religions? It's the first real number mathematically.
You still need the 4th, which is garlic, for the Trinity. You see what I'm doing there? It's a food thing.
Yeah. Bruh. You can't have 4 in a Trinity.
Well, you can't have 4 in a Trinity, but they always say the Pope is the garlic.
Yeah, the Pope is the garlic because it adds flavor and interprets for the rest.
But despite the fact that this is like a fairly big creature in the Ozarks, it's a mythical creature.
Is it more folklore than actual sightings?
Well, the thing is, it's like there have been sightings over the years, but I didn't see, like, I even typed into Chat GPT. Don't get mad at me on that.
Well, apparently the government does it. Yeah, I had to make you feel bad for this one somehow, man.
But, like, I checked all my sources. There's only really 2 different distinctive sightings. All the other sightings are either, like, proven hoaxes which of course,
Proven hoaxes.
The thing is, it sounds a lot more scandalous than it actually is. It's like someone lied about seeing it, and then when they were questioned, they were like, okay, this didn't happen. It's not a...
Also, let's be fair. If either you or I were up in a deer stand in the middle of the Ozarks and saw something fucking weird and it made a noise that scared us, what are we saying it is?
Yeah, you might say Ozark Howler. But the thing is, okay, so there are two different stories, and we're going to get into both of them. The first account is lost to time, but the earliest account comes from the early 1800s with the explorer Daniel Boone.
Oh, so Danny Boone with his knife.
Yeah.
And I'm about to die at the Alamo.
Yeah. That Daniel Boone. The story is... How do I put... What is the opposite of clear?
Opaque.
Opaque. Well, clear... Or what is the opposite of a story that lines up perfectly?
A lie.
Well, I mean, some people...
It's not a transparent story.
Well, the thing is, it's like, it's all word of mouth. There's no evidence that he encountered the creature, but depending on who you ask, he encountered the creature in Arkansas or Oklahoma, or like he shot the creature, or he attempted to shoot the creature.
Are we talking more like a tall tale?
It is almost tall tale territory with the game of telephone people were playing with the story. I mean, I didn't even write it down because it was so...
But the thing is at this point, it's just a story of telegraph.
Yeah.
Or fax.
Yeah. It's just...
So weird that fax is older than the phone.
That's crazy, isn't
it? Yeah, a Meiji era samurai could have faxed Abraham Lincoln. That's
pretty cool. Anyway, so I didn't really decide. I decided not to really sit here and go over the details of the story, just because it's like there's so many different accounts and it switches up so much. It's like, I don't think it's a real story. I think it's more of a tall tale, an urban legend.
All right, I got a tale about a monster in the mountains. Who fought it? Paul Bunyan. That bro's not where. Danny Boone.
Yeah. That's
he and his buddy Sam. He and his buddy Sam Houston
even compared it to Paul Bunyan in terms of an American tall tale.
To be fair, the amount of stuff that we would consider that with Davy Crockett or Daniel Boone, because they're folk heroes that did exist, but the amount of shit that people made up about them. I mean, there might have been a dude that was actually just named Paul that became Paul Bunyan. It was just a really big ass dude, 6'5", 6'6", and then stories spread from there. But eventually, we're going to get to Paul Bunyan.
So, there have been a surge of sightings that, sightings fluctuate. They go up, they go down. Early 1900s, 1970s, 2000, 2010, so on and so forth. And a lot of it is, I heard a howl, or I saw the creature in the distance, things like that.
A lot of it's I was out in the woods and I heard a noise.
Yeah.
Okay, I know we'll discuss this more towards the end, but I'm going to say this. I feel 90% of this is probably coyotes.
Well, funny you should say something.
Oh no, I'm about to have my whole shit wrecked, everybody.
Now, I mean, this is actually a good time to get into what people think the Ozark Howler is. Now, the usual suspects from skeptics, misidentification from black bears, cougars, wolves, things like that. And the main thing that people respond to that is what you usually hear. It's well, these people live out there. I've even said that about the Pelican Monster.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Let's say, did you see a weird black bear? I could give it that. We don't have wolves in this neck of the woods. If there was I would believe the Ozark Howler was real more than I believe a timber wolf was just walking Arkansas vibing.
Yeah.
He just had his Joe Rogan podcast on walking through Arkansas.
God damn it.
But, well, I mean, you know why a wolf would have to listen to Joe Rogan, right? Because
alpha,
he needs to know what an alpha is.
Jump off a cliff, God damn it.
There's nothing such as an alpha.
But yeah, I mean, it's your typical just back and forth in terms of skeptics and believers. I can kind of see the idea that, like, if you live in the woods or if you spend a lot of time in the woods, you would know what a black bear or coyote or any other creature would look like. And if you see something with horns that howls very strangely, you would take note of that. But at the same time, it's very easy to misidentify things. I mean,
it is. Like, the only thing is, like, if there was a mountain lion with, like, a weird pigmentation mutation to come out looking like what we would call a panther, or what the Arkansas howler or Ozark howler is supposed to look like, black fur, I can understand. Like, if you saw a large cat with dark fur, you'd be like, that ain't right.
Yeah.
But like there's difference in leonine and bear. Like, feline, like mountain lions, any other large cat, are very sleek, aerodynamic in their build. Bears are the chunky, I will fuck you up in a bar of the natural world.
You don't also see many wildcats that have, like, bushy fur.
No. So, I mean, like, my thing is like misidentification. Looking at a canid versus a bear build, not canid, that's wolves. A feline build or a canid build or a bear build, they're all very different in how they're physically built.
Yeah. But getting into the second main sighting, which is the most interesting sighting, because it comes from a show called Mysterious Creatures with Forrest Gallant. Now, Forrest Gallant is he's a zoologist. Him and his wife are both zoologists. He's also a wildlife biologist.
Uh-huh.
And Mysterious Creatures is about, from what I saw, it is about, like, looking up cryptids or folklore, mysterious creatures. That's the whole thing. So they had an episode on the Ozark Howler in 2021. And in this episode, after they were interviewing people, witnesses who had saw the creature, allegedly saw the Ozark Howler, they actually got in contact with an Arkansas moonshiner.
Okay.
And what this moonshiner said to Forrest and his wife, that moonshiners, well, he said, for one, he believed the Arkansas howler was real, but he said that the creature was embellished by moonshiners to keep people away from their shit.
Oh my God, I love that.
And in fact, in the episode, he replicates the quote howl.
Does he have an Aztec death whistle?
No, he actually just does it vocally, I believe. Like, I didn't get to see most of the episode, I only got snippets of it, but it's a very interesting watch. And when asked, like, okay, so you embellish it, like moonshiners replicate the howl and everything, so why do you say it's real? It's like, well, my papa killed it. My papa killed one. So he goes out, he gets like a hide, and he gives it to the people, and they test it. And what they find is that this is actually the hide of a red wolf.
A red wolf?
A red wolf. Now, what you need to know about red wolves: they are endangered in captivity.
Oh shit, your papa done committed a crime.
Well, this would have been in the early 1900s, so it was before, like, it was even on the list, I believe.
Well, there were no lists, but, these are big boys.
Yeah, they're very big. And they're virtually extinct in the wild through human encroachment and breeding with other canines.
Well, I'm looking at a picture, and I want to adopt this.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful...
I would lose my hand, but I want one.
Yeah. Through breeding with other canines and human encroachment, the numbers have dwindled greatly, and bringing back the population has been very hard to do.
That and low light, though.
Yeah.
That and low light.
Yeah. The biggest issue they have with trying to bring back up the population are twofold. One, these wolves are monogamous. Like, if they have a mate, they stay with that mate, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of creatures that are not monogamous, so they will. But also, these wolves know who it. Like, they will not mate with someone or with another wolf that's too close to their. Like, they won't mate with like a sister, for instance.
They won't do incestuous relations. Oh my god, these things are bigger than most dogs.
Yeah, no, wolves are usually pretty.
Well, no,
fucking
like
big.
I'm used to the size of a timber wolf or a gray wolf, being that their shoulders are above my hip, which, again, like we've mentioned before, like how tall everybody in our group is. If its shoulders are above my hips, that's a big fucking animal.
Yeah. So after testing the hide and figuring out it's from a red wolf, they were like, why don't we take some of the witnesses of the original encounters and let them go look at some wolves? So they went to North Carolina into a wildlife refuge for red wolves, because this is where I think some of the only 240 red wolves that exist in captivity are.
Red wolves can be 4 to 5 feet long. They can be 26 to 30 inches at the shoulder, and they can weigh up to 80 pounds for heavier females and males. There is not much size disparity between the sexes. They may be red, they may be blonde, they may be red with gray, or they may be a red dark brown coming off as black at night.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to step on toes. It's just you introduced me to a critter that I now
You're
want
like,
as a pet.
I need a puppy now. And that puppy is a red wolf. Unfortunately, you'll never get one because there's only 250 in captivity, and there's an estimated 20 in the wild, unfortunately.
You just depressed me. Like,
yeah.
bro,
Well,
I brought back the Luton, and you made me sadder than that.
Yeah. So they decided, hey, we're going to bring some of these witnesses to this place oh, it's raining now. So they decided to bring some of the witnesses to North Carolina, to this wildlife refuge, and be like, hey, does this look familiar to you? And this witness said, yeah, seems like what I kind of what I saw. And then they decided, okay, let's take it a step further and see if we can get these wolves to howl. Now, here's a fun part. They tried to get the wolves to howl with like recordings of other wolves. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. They got the moonshiner to replicate it, and they howled to that.
Thank you, Cletus.
And like the witness said, that's what they sounded like. So I think personally, when it comes to the Ozark Howler, it's a curious mix of like European folklore that has come to America, like a lot of European folklore. But I also think in recent years, you could attribute it to a potential, like not a potentially, but an endangered species that has popped up every now and then. In fact, if you look at the times, like the 1970s, parts of the 1980s, 90s, 2000s, the fluctuations when you see the Ozark Howler, quote unquote, it's times when they're trying to reintroduce the wolf to the wild. Almost always in this area.
That, you know what, dude? We started out kind of creepy cryptid and went very much really interesting with this. Like,
I like
as much as we shit talked and sprayed Febreze over everything, and
yeah, we won't get into that.
But I mean, like what you're saying is actually super cool. Like, you know what? If this creature is just you heard a weird noise in the night and we introduced the red wolf back to an area it used to live in, that's actually kind of dope.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, if it's a red wolf, it matches everything about a cryptid. It's very rare. You see it, and it's something that is not native. Well, you don't know it as native.
It is not familiar to you.
Yeah. If it dies, it's probably its corpse is not going to stay around long because
there is so much shit in the woods.
And eventually it's gonna, like, there's not enough of them to, like, leave a trace as much as, like, a bear or...
Right, there's not that large of a reproductive population.
And so it hits all the marks for a cryptid. People just... It seemed like people either, one, took the red wolf as this howler, or time goes on and then they attribute them to... They just kind of meld together.
Well, let's take a very real situation for you and me. When we were doing LARPs for MudCon, you, me, and Cannon would walk the property at night the night before to make sure
everything was clear.
Everything was clear, like all the roads, because he had a pathway by the creek, and then he had a road that ran the entire edge of the property, but he had a hunting camp on the northern end, and he had a personal camp/farm on the eastern side, and then the south and the western side were the road and people's property. So we had to make sure, one, people weren't not watching their dogs, two, shit from the campground or hunting ground didn't make it in, because I remember one time that you didn't go, we had to pull part of a deer out of a barbed wire fence.
That's fun.
It had been there a minute, but also I remember walking with Tim, and a pack of wild dogs showed up. And I'm like, all I got on me is a machete. And then Tim pulled his gun. And one of the times you and me and Cannon went, Cannon didn't have his sidearm in the holster. He was carrying it because he ran into bobcats.
Yeah, he was talking about, like, shooting at bobcats, and they do not flinch.
No, those they are the honey badger of Mississippi and Louisiana. But I'm just saying is, like, you're walking in the pitch dark in the woods, and something's eyes shine in the dark. Our brains go through so many immediate checklists for that.
And then when you don't find it, you're like, fuck. But yeah. My sources are Wikipedia, obviously, the Cryptid Wiki, Vox for the Red Wolf population, YouTube with Dixie After Dark, and Mysterious Creatures with Forrest Gallant. Which
Dixie After Dark is good.
And I need to actually check out Mysterious Creatures with Forrest Gallant because it seems like really fun. It seems up our alley because it's like... It's a silly cryptid show, but it has the twist of the guy actually being like a biologist.
I actually finally added Louisiana Dread to my watch list on YouTube.
And there's also the Endangered Wolf Center with the Ozark Howler, only in Arkansas, Ozark Howler.
Well, before we go too much further there, 5 foot long wolf in the middle of nowhere in the woods, that's spooky. But let's say it was a 3 foot dog-ish creature that attacks you, like all of 40 pounds, which, by the way, is enough to jack you up. And
anything over 30 pounds is gonna fuck you up.
How do you make it scarier?
Add horns. Add red eyes.
Add red eyes. It's got horns like the devil.
You mix up some howls and some shrieks that you hear from other animals.
It's not even that, man. Just
well, that's why I said, like, that's why I pointed out that, like, the howls are variant, because, like, some people heard, like, high pitch, some people heard low pitch, some people heard, like, what sounded like a woman screaming, some actually heard more traditional howl.
I mean, any of that happening in the woods, man, and it's night,
it's fucking scary.
Okay, so, like, today, most of us live in a world where, like, my neighbors are at most 100 feet in one direction from us, right?
Yeah.
So, if I heard a noise outside, one, I'm not going outside to check it personally. Still not going out to check it, but I could call, like, well, Bosch doesn't live next door to me anymore, but I used to be able to call someone who's next door, like, hey, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Let's call someone about that, because
we have infrastructure
to deal with this.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, Bosch, no, we'll go outside. Like, all right, bring 2 shotguns, not just one, because I'm about to walk out with a machete or a warhammer, and
You need a little bit more. I could see you brandishing that warhammer. That would fuck someone up.
I have carried that outside before when I heard noises in the backyard that were not what I expected.
Going out there like fucking Gimli.
No, I'm going out there in my freaking Hanes boxer briefs with, like, I'm a fat dude with a warhammer. If it was human, it's running away. What it turned out to be is 2 possums fighting over shit from my compost heap.
Anyway, we're Backwoods Obscura. We release every Tuesday. We're also Team Bonus Section.
I hope to God we don't have enough people to draw fan art. Because I don't need my fat ass with a warhammer walking out and it's 2 possums fighting over a fucking dried ass okra kernel or pod. Anyway, we're also Team Bonus Action. It's a group of folks who like to play D&D and other tabletop games and video games. And we are loosely connected to charity this year. We are associated right now through May with the Trevor Project and the NCLU. Also, throughout the rest of the year, anytime, if you can donate to St. Jude's to help to fight childhood cancer, we'd greatly appreciate it. It is up to us to try to make the world a better place. So if you can pay it forward, we greatly appreciate it.
And I hope you have a good day or night or whatever time it is over there.
Moonshiners know what's up.
Moonshiners are wise wizards.